Hey everybody, just finished the session, risk. How much risk is too much and will you know in time? And the panel is up here speaking was a bunch of experts and the things they had to say, really good information. Here I am with Russell, one of our speakers from the risk, how much risk is too much and will you know in time? Now during the session, one of the things that came up is enterprise risk management and a culture of risk. What exactly or how would you classify or define enterprise risk management?
Yeah, I think when you think about enterprise risk management, it's really focused on what are the standards that we're following. It could be COSO, it could be ISO, it could be NIST. Any one of those standards are critical to make sure we're actually capturing all the different risk criteria that an organization may want to have, carry. To me, when you think about classifying risks, you at least want to start at the top of the house with those standards and then kind of move down from there.
Now, Sanjay, one of the things that came up during this was how could risk be classified? How would you tell people they should be classifying or look at how risk should be classified?
That's a great question. I think all of us struggle with that. And one thing I feel is really, first of all, you got to know what your risk is. So identify the risk, right? And you really got to identify not just sitting at the corporate level, but for example, we are a manufacturing organization. So we actually go down to plant level, talk to plant managers, talk to plant controller, see what the risk is. We talk to sales staff and see the risk from a customer perspective. We talk to procurement and the risk from a vendor perspective. Then we look at obviously our risk, which is foreign currency, interest rate risk, liquidity risk. Just even having too much cash is actually a risk too on the balance sheet too. So once we figure that out, then we're able to better manage that, better able to control that. In some cases, we may decide to stay exposed. In some cases, if we can really mitigate that risk a lot cheaper, we will actually mitigate the risk. And that risk actually gets communicated back to at the top level of the management board. And that's how we manage our risk.
Risk. How much risk is too much and will you know in time? One of the panelists I have here is Sergio. And Sergio, a key thing you said is you can't manage risk in isolation. So what is it that you really need to do or businesses need to do to keep from managing in isolation?
That's a key point. One of the key points is make sure that communication goes around the company and you have an understanding of what's going on in the organization. Emphasize people getting out of their cube, their seats, and talk to each other. So you know what's going on in the company and be able to proactively take actions before actually something happens.
So it kind of ties into what Russell said when it comes to enterprise-wide. It shouldn't just be one person in one department. It should be multiple people, multiple departments, maybe even having a team of people working together.
Exactly. Risk management is a team effort, although treasury might be one of the areas where it leads or identifies exposure. It is purely a teamwork effort.
One of the things you said, and I mean, this really stuck with me, and you said it a couple of times, is risk does not respect organizational structure. Now, could you tell our viewers, what do you mean by risk does not respect an organizational structure?
Well, as with any business, it's success is the sum of all the parts, from sales to operations to finance to HR. And at the same time, with any reward, you have risk, which means that if someone in the supply chain doesn't do something, you don't get things delivered, that has a cost. If you don't have enough positive cash flow, that has a cost. And so one risk in one area can ripple through all of the operational areas, finance areas, and of course management may be the last one to find out about it. Not a good idea.
What did you think about that? Being able to learn that risk doesn't respect the organizational structure. Being able to learn that you can't have risk management in isolation. Being able to understand that you got to have a culture of risk. That it's got to be something that is around the entire organization. This is what we're learning here at NYCE. If you want to learn more, you need to attend.